first, as she often is in the community here, because you can comment on YouTube before the show starts. Okay, so Andrew's done exactly that. Hola, bon dia, happy Friday, sexta-feira. We have an appointment with a realtor at 10 minutes past 9, so I won't be here live. What? Sending love and wishing you all a fantastic weekend. Well, sending you lots of love and best wishes for a successful home hunt this morning. So that's great news, isn't it? This mic is sounding a bit weird. I don't know if Mrs. M has been messing about with the controls. Talking of Mrs. M, we'll be with Mrs. M and Jim, who's also here this morning. Bon dia a todos from Jim White. Jim is our special guest tomorrow night. It's Feelgood Friday today, and it's the Feelgood Portugal show tomorrow night at 10 o'clock Portugal time, which makes it a lot easier for our friends on the other side of the Atlantic to listen to 10 o'clock in the evening. So do join us, where we'll be talking to Jim about his amazing work and all on a feel-good Portugal kind of vibe. And of course, a great idea that he's got that we want to talk through as well, that's going to be of particular interest to people moving to Portugal. Okay, who else is saying good morning this morning? Matty's here. Thank you for sending me those pics, Matty. I wasn't entirely sure. I thought it was a new design for Bono's sunglasses, his eyewear, his face furniture. So maybe that could work. If you could get Bono to wear those designs that you sent me, that would definitely get a few more subscribers on your YouTube channels that are in, well, you can see there, Healthy Move Portugal is one of them. And Andrea, good luck with that appointment. I hope you find with them the property you're looking for. Oh, and bon dia, of course. Very good, very polite. And his general greeting, as he does in Portuguese, our first Portuguese lesson of the day, which often comes from Matty. And I do appreciate this, Matty, you doing this. It's great. Bon dia, alegria a todos. Desejo a todos abençoado, saudável e feliz sentimento de boa sexta-feira. So a good Friday with health and happiness. And word of the day, then. Let's make that the word of the day, because I don't actually know what it means. Abençoado. Let's find out. Let's see who knows what that might mean. And he's wishing Garvo greetings in advance of Garvo joining us. And I hope Garvo got the memo. He knows he's coming here. He may not have got the memo about the 8:30 start. Let's wait and see, shall we? He's got fibre. Apparently, they've got fibre now in central Portugal. Wow, welcome to the 21st century, guys. Bon dia a todos from James Holly, YouTube member James Holly. Another beautiful day in Ericeira with a beautiful way to start our Friday. Yes, of course. And we've been showing sunsets from Ericeira. We have a sunrise this morning. Thank you, everybody, for sending in your pics. I really appreciate it. The Shays, who recently celebrated their 40th wedding anniversary, are sending the picture in this morning of the view from their balcony. Look at that. Isn't that lovely? That's Cascais. Great part of Portugal. Very popular with the expats. And no wonder. It has so much to commend it. Fantastic. And you'll see, well, normally I think that you get a bluer sky than that over there in Cascais, don't you? But that was the picture that was sent to us yesterday, and we're very grateful for it. Cascais, sunrise from the balcony of the Casa Shay over there. Thank you very much for that. And from our old mate Steve Merwin, who sends in some message. Oh, my WhatsApp connection has broken down. What's going on here? Let's see if we can reinstate that connection, because other pics may come through. Even a voice message. I must boil some. What was it Jacqueline Branco said yesterday about eating onions that have been soaked with honey? Or maybe what did she recommend to boil up with the old carrots? Must do that. Still got a little bit of a funny throat, as you can hear there. Oh, so they are, yes, Rex Specs. Matty's designs. Maybe we can put those on the screen with your permission. Got some lovely videos to share this morning. Of course, the cemetery video, and of maybe when Garvo comes here, he would like to have his opening honoured with the Alviagra. I keep calling it the national anthem. It's the local anthem, isn't it? It's the district anthem. Still, we haven't had any competitors for that. So we will stand by for further anthems from around the country and look forward to those. Yes, oh my goodness, this is another picture I've neglected to share with you. Somebody just sent me a picture saying, what is this, please? I haven't got the foggiest. And there's also a sunrise there. So we'll show that in just a moment. 913-590-303 is the number. And that's coming from, oh, is that you, Jackie, who sent in that picture? So do let me know. You'll immediately know who you are when I put your picture up on the screen. And I've got. Oh no, that's okay. I see as I scroll through my WhatsApp, I'm seeing more and more pictures. So the ones I'm going to show you in just a moment are Butard Carl. This is from Steve. Motivated by my fellow Minnesotans. Here are a couple of shots from Minneapolis this morning. Feel free to share on GMP. As always, thoroughly enjoying your show. Well, thank you very much, Steve Merwin, for that. Let's bring your pictures onto the screen. There's one of them. It's fall, isn't it? And isn't that an interesting road? What happened there to that road? That looks like a bit of a, is that a road safety thing going? Oh, no, I see what's happened. The road is covered in leaves, making it look like a strange road layout. But actually, yeah, you can make that drive into the autumnal forest there, which looks very beautiful. And look at this as well. Oh, look at that. What did he say, sunrise or sunset? It's a sunrise over there in Minneapolis. Isn't that beautiful? Absolutely wonderful. Thank you for that. And yes, while we've got a few pictures loaded up, let's have a look at this one as well. We were talking about Confianza soap yesterday, of course, weren't we? Look, this brand here. And yes, made an extra clip video for the YouTube members of the Confianza soap. Thank you, Eusebio, for your work, your additional post-production work on that. Really appreciate that. And of course, I think it was you, Francis, wasn't it, who said, didn't a certain film, wasn't that film based, or some of the scenes based in a soap factory? And there's the evidence. Who saw that? Who enjoyed that? Who enjoyed that slightly sideways look at life and the urges, the bestial urges of mankind in that movie there, or of men, I should say. So we perhaps should remake that. We could certainly remake that poster with a Confianza bar of soap. I'm sure Ed and Brad wouldn't mind that, would they? And nor would their management. Surely not. And there's also a few remakes in the pipeline. So we could remake that film in Portugal with Confianza soap in the Confianza soap factory in Braga, and a few of the fellas here who would like to feel alive by punching each other, which is what the film is effectively. Sorry if that's a spoiler for anybody with Fight Club, but it is actually delving deep into our existential inquiry and finding vent and awakening and revelation through physical violence. Who knew? Who would have thought it? The other film we could remake, of course, is 300 as well. We were talking about that yesterday. The Lusitano army, brave men, numbering only probably 200, only 200 required compared to those lightweight Spartans of 300. So we'll have a film called 200 because we only need 200 Lusitano warriors. And we'll remake that as well, and maybe up in the hills of northern, in the Gerês National Park. We'll go marauding through the Gerês National Park, scantily clad, all buffed up, all done in post-production, of course, to get rid of those beer bellies and man boobs bouncing about on the Gerês National Park. Nobody wants to see that. Put it away, everybody. And with red capes on and spears and stuff like that. Just send me an email if you're up for that, which I will ignore, obviously, or send to a registered psychotherapist like James Holly, who's here this morning. So we've got a Holly and we've got a Polly. Look at that, as though that were planned this morning. From James Holly to Jackie Polly. Bon dia. Hope everyone has had an amazing weekend. Did you send me this, which I'm glad I'd had my breakfast before I received this. Is this your work, Jackie? And because when messages first come through on the WhatsApp, it just, of course, it's phone number based, isn't it? And I only get to see the phone number. And I have to do a bit of delving to see if you've actually appended your name to your phone number details. It would really help if when you send something in, you put, Jackie, if you are Jackie. Don't do that if you're somebody else, because then that'll be even more confusing. But look, was this you, Jackie, who sent me this? After the old banana slug, this looks like something you found actually in Portugal. Isn't that a beauty? I'm assuming it's some sort of a caterpillar or grub or chrysalis or pupae or something like that, or in some sort of metamorphic process perhaps already there. And it's got a nice little quiff, a little yellow quiff of, I don't know, what are they? Insecty kind of fronds on its head. It's a most remarkable creature. And perhaps that's what the old, we've got to show this picture for a third day running then, clearly. Perhaps this is in the secret recipe of Dr. Bayard's. There is a bit of a resemblance, isn't there, between that lady, who's now very famous on the Good Morning Portugal show, this slug, the banana slug, thank you, James, and this grub, now seen in Portugal with its beautiful colouring. And if you're a bird, you would think twice about eating that. And presumably that is why it is made up like that by the creator, whomever you feel the creator to be. But this can't be an accident, can it? This thing, there must be a creator of some sort, a divine intelligence, a cosmic intelligence. Let's not get into that right now. And also, along with that picture, is this sunrise here. I'm thinking that might be Jackie's work. Let's find out if it is. So good morning to you, Jackie, with your bon dia. I hope everyone has an amazing weekend of Bon Fin Semana. Very good. Deagle. So how's it going with you and the Minister of Home Affairs? Now we've got to the bottom of that. Bon dia, Carl, from a sunny Belfast. So that's nice to hear, but it's a fresh 5 degrees. That is a fresh 5 degrees. What have we got here? 16 at the moment. It feels a bit chilly here too, at a mere 16. I have to say. And this thing here, I had I had a great webinar last night with Paul Correa from Fiduciary Wealth Management, learning about investment. Beginner's Guide to Investment. We try to go into it until as somebody said in the webinar, and some people have a kind of, dyscalculia. A lot of people don't relate well to money, do they? Naturally, I don't think it's not a natural thing for human beings, is it, to be trading, pieces of metal and pieces of paper that have a conceptual value. I think naturally we probably just give each other things according to need. So this money thing, this recent money thing in our consciousness culture, comes quite difficult to some people. Others love it, don't they? Others do really well with it. And we were talking to Paul last night, and during that webinar, I also complained of this condition I'm currently experiencing, which is Microsoft in their endeavors. I mean, there's somebody who's good with money, right? Microsoft in their endeavors have got this Microsoft News thing that comes in, and I'm sure it's part of the Microsoft Teams conspiracy. And I have this news that pops up. I don't want it. I don't remember asking for it. And worse still, it pops up on the screen, and then it blocks out what I'm trying to do in a live stream situation like this. I might get my lawyers to sue Microsoft, but probably not. I just want to know how to stop this infuriating, awful thing happening. Don't Microsoft understand how much frustration they cause people with their well-meaning technological advances? Presumably not. And Ben Soado is blessed. Thank you, Facebook user, whoever you are. Loving to see our friend Gary this morning. Yes, if he ever turns up, I wonder if he slept in. He's an early riser, as you would expect from Alviagra. So I do expect to see him. He's probably got on his mind that it's a 9 o'clock start. Let's leave that tension. Hang in there, shall we? The suspense is killing us all. Will Garvo, will the great Garvo turn up or not this morning? And maybe he's just turning on, getting ready for the show, and then seeing me live already and thinking, whoa, better get a wiggle on here and get started. But what was I saying? Microsoft. Do excuse me. I've got my cough video ready. I think I might need it right now. I'll have a sip of tea and see if this works for you, because it hasn't been working so far. Let's just see if this is working, which gives me a little respite for a moment to do unspeakable things while the microphone's turned off. Oh, there we are. Yes, that works, doesn't it? All sorted now. Thanks for asking. Okay, Jackie, James, Deagle, fantastic. Jim White, of course, our guest tomorrow night on Feelgood Portugal. Bon dia, kids. Happy Friday. Look, nice greeting, Victoria. And oh my word, a very excellent food video from Victoria. A recommendation, I think, from our dear friend Frank. It's like the old firm are being mentioned this morning, Frank, Garvo. Oh, because it makes me feel all warm inside. But Victoria, that lovely video of your meal the other day, I'm going to share that this morning. But I'll wait till Garvo gets here, because I know he'll be excited by that. He likes his food. Bon dia todos. Finally, my car. Oh, okay. My car is now on a trailer to the Algarve. Okay. Have I forgotten a bit of this story, Anna? So is it being towed from Sweden to the Algarve? And why would you do such a thing, I wonder? None of my business, but I am curious, as I'm sure others are here this morning. Bon dia, Carl and Garvo. Looking forward to this morning's conversation with the man of reason. And it will be mature, hopefully wise. You can be the judge of that. And yes, considered, mature, and befitting of men of our age and position in society, obviously. Bon dia alegria a todos from Francis popping in to say hi. We'll have to catch a replay, have a meeting in 15. Happy Feel Good Friday. Cheers. Yep, Feel Good Friday with the great Garvo. Hopefully we can get him into the habit of being here on the third Friday. I'm having trouble getting him to commit, but it's always good to see him appear as and when he does. And thank you for that, Francis. Good luck with the meeting. Bon dia, Stephen, as well. Good morning, Stephen. How are you? Ron, I showed the picture earlier on. Ron and Jane in Cascais, another beautiful day in Portugal. In case you missed it, here's your lovely pic that you sent in to me, and thank you for it. Jackie, was that your yellow grub? But there's the Casa Shea balcony view of Cascais. Fantastic. And Eusebio is here. Bon dia, Playboys Internationais. Is that aimed at me and Garvo? We'll take it. Thank you very much. Hola, bon dia from Paul. Hello, Paul. Great day here in Hampshire. Missing the lovely weather at home. Yeah, what are you doing? Hola, bon dia, todos from that Facebook user, who can presumably give it up anytime they want to. Those pics were for your eyes. Oh no, it's okay. I didn't send them. That's good. I haven't shared them. I thought it was the yellow grub that I wasn't meant. That's too late for that. And your translation. So your secret is safe with me, Matty. And your translation, of course, here. Good morning, joy, all. Bon dia alegria. Todos. I wish everyone a blessed, healthy, and happy Feel Good Friday. So abençoado. That's great to know, isn't it? And surely we are all blessed in some way, and we have a blessing or two to count. I know many of us do here on the Good Morning Portugal show, and it's always good to remember that. Got some questions regarding Garvo's fibre experience. Oh, is that about his constipation? Oh no, he's internet, of course. But we'll send him that. We could talk to him about his constipation. I'm sure he won't mind. But we'll send him those via FB. Maybe it is about his constipation if you're sending it privately, as I don't think it's for today's show. Maybe not. Let's find out. You can speak freely. Garvo's a very open fellow. Bon dia. Where can I get satsumas here in Portugal? Good question, Leslie 701. Why is that specific? Oh my goodness. I thought I dealt with that. Why particularly satsumas? Because that has occurred to me in Portugal. I've lived in a house with a beautiful orange tree, and I thought they were satsumas, but I'm never sure which is which on the citrus scale, particularly of the orange variety. So you've got the great big Jaffas, haven't you? And you have a somewhat smaller orange, and then you go into the clementine, satsuma, tangerine area. And that's that. What is going on here? I can't play that video again, can I? That is just 5 types of orange, and I suspect there are more. And I imagine also somebody is reaching now, researching the orange spectrum with pictures, with beautiful, like you see with that. And there are many more apples. I know that, but certainly there'll be quite a few oranges, won't there? And there'll be a nice poster of them. So I would have thought it wouldn't be difficult to get satsumas in Portugal, but I don't often see the demarcation of different varieties, Leslie. Others, I will leave that to others in the comments this morning. Joe, so good to share your beautiful pictures here on the Good Morning Portugal show. And I know, as I say that, I think, did I or didn't I? That beautiful picture you've got from Lagos with the shell, just placed in the sand, and the beautiful sunset in the background in Lagos there. So wonderful, and thank you for letting me show those. I'm going to show that again. I'll lay my hands on that and do that one again because it is so beautiful. Bon dia de belos Lagos this morning. And Thomas is here. Thomas, you were fantastic last night on the troubleshooting session. Good man. Really appreciate that, and that delve into your private life. This man knows a lot about the Finances portal. And actually, that might be a really good Ask Our Expats avenue that people might book Thomas on that basis if you're struggling to get into the portal. He's not a financial advisor or an accountant, let me make that clear, but he has his own user perspective of using the Finances portal. And by far and away, the most elaborate, comprehensive user of the said system. So that may be a booking or two for you there, Thomas, with the frustration that the AT Finances portal can bring to people. But once you know how, you know how. And we were saying last night what an incredible bit of software it is. And it's a bon dia from Santarém in the sunny Ribatejo from you. So good morning to you, Thomas. And where is that photograph, that beautiful building behind you there? And I know that you do love a beautiful building. Is that Santarém? First rule of don't talk about. So I will not. Yes, it was your yellow grub, Jackie. Okay, so let's show that again then. Now it's safe to do so. If you're having your breakfast, I do apologize. Can we help Jackie with this then? What is that? What does that grow into? And I do love that cartoon where you see the two little caterpillars looking up at a butterfly, and one says to the other, "You'll never get me up in one of those." So there's Jackie's picture for identification, nature identification. I'm sure there are apps. People say there's an app, whatgrub.com or something like that. But it's not. It's a poor second place. That's a solitary activity, isn't it? If everything is app based and everyone does everything themselves with machines on the internet. What a miserable world that is. So here we are asking the question out loud of our compatriots and colleagues here on the Good Morning Portugal show. What is that? Let's help each other. We are an app. This is a living app made of human beings and their goodness and kindness. Isn't that better than a machine, an artificial intelligence? Good morning, everyone from Joseph Marsh. 2 days running, Joseph. Good man. And Nuno's here as well. Good morning, everyone. Have a nice day. Thank you, Nuno. We are doing our expats Portugal Premium Plus, our plan that we do that helps people move to Portugal. It's insurance next week, Nuno, so you might like to join us for that session. Maybe he needs to start the generator first to fire up his fiber modem. Maybe he does. Maybe that's what he's doing. Maybe he's not back from the woods yet this morning. If it's the messages on the right-hand side, then if you run the cursor over the message, move out of it and go back in, you should see a little cog. Yes, that cog doesn't obviously and easily say, turn this rubbish off. But I suppose they don't want you to turn it off, do they? Clicking that should take you to a place where you can switch off that type of notification. Theoretically, thank you, Thomas, for that. What was that song? Dude. It was a bit of a library tune, and I think you mean this one, don't you? Which I'm going to play again now, so that you can. If anyone recognizes it, tell Michelle what it is. I'll tell you what I think it is. It's very jolly, isn't it? So there's the yellow grub, which is now hiding me. So let's move the yellow grub. Does anybody know what that is this morning? And I don't know the name of the song, but when I made the video, it's one of the library choices that you have, and very good it is too. I can send you the MP3 of it if you like, Michelle. If you like it that much, no problem. Shazam! It would be interesting. Did you manage to Shazam that just then as I was playing it? I wonder. Okay, standing by for the great Garvo, which makes him sound like an entertainer. Well, he is an entertainer, isn't he? He's going to be entertaining you this morning. And the great Garvo will be here putting the sex in Sexta Feira this morning. But let's see, another 5 minutes, I suspect. Since I'm driving on my own, and I'm not 25 anymore, I can see you're 2 or 3 years older than that, aren't you? Probably. It would be a struggle to drive the car all those miles from Stockholm. Doesn't cost a lot more. That's interesting. And it's not putting extra miles on the clock. Fascinating that, Anna. So you get to sit with the driver, presumably, in the cab, who's towing your car. And you can take it nice and easy. Very good. I understand now. Mark Rigby, a bon dia from Pavor de Vargim. And yes, I would say, 28, 29 tops there looking at your photograph. Mark Rigby, a bon dia from Pavor de Vargim this morning. How are you, Mark Rigby? Have you got a dad joke for us this morning? Please do share. You're with me and Garvo. Morning, all you wonderful people waiting for Garvo. Oh, yes, I'm sorry, Ian. You'll have to make do with me for the time being. I prefer Satsumas too, but I haven't seen him. So by Satsuma, are we talking about the looser skinned citrus where it's easier to peel? Is that why you folks like them? And are they seedless as well? Is that part of it? Hey, Diogo. Hello, good morning. Still here in England, Norfolk. Anyone who is in England and going to Portugal. Oh, okay. A request coming from Diogo this morning. Can we help? I'm in need. Who can drive one van full to Portugal next Monday? PM me back. I pay in pounds. So it's a gig. It's a job for somebody there. What an interesting little gig that is as well. For somebody in the right place in their life at the moment, who's sort of footloose and fancy free, wants to come to Portugal. What a lovely gig. Come to Portugal, get paid to drive a van. Fantastic, with our mate Diogo there. And Eusebio, plant a Satsuma tree. No need to thank me. Okay. Yes, I think she might want Satsumas a bit quicker than that, but that is the long-term thinking, isn't it? That's the 7-generation thinking, so that somebody needn't be asking this on the Good Morning Portugal in 7 generations' time. So you mathematicians, if we were to apply 7-generation thinking, the Native American approach, and to me, it's always a great way, isn't it? Most of us modern people now, we're thinking, okay, how do I get through the day? Or, what's my 5-year plan? And then the Native Americans apparently had 7-generation thinking, which would include the planting of food and being able to look after themselves into the future. What year will it be if it's the 7th generation of Good Morning Portugal? What would you project that to be? When my great grandchild is now going to be presenting the Expats Portugal Good Morning Portugal show. What year will that be, mathematicians, and those of you whose minds lean into that sort of thing comfortably? We think it's a death head hawk moth. Yes, I would go with that as well, only because of the name. I mean, that's a great name. Caterpillar about 6 inches long and the thickness of your index finger. I'm scared. It's in the garden. I think that's harmless. That fella. I'd be quite happy to pick that up with gloves, just in case it did send out a deadly jet of venom. I might wear my goggles as well. But I don't think it's one of the most venomous and evil things that you can find in a Portuguese garden, Jackie. But the death head hawk moth is our best guess so far. Thomas, I think because of the proliferation of indigenous citrus fruits, some from further afield don't really have a market. Oh, try Lidl or Aldi, I suggest. So you think Satsuma's not a natural here? Here it's oranges or tangerines, mostly in the orange fruit line. So there you go. So the big or little, basically, grande or pequeño. When it comes to locally produced stuff. Okay, so thank you for that, Thomas. And that's a much nicer way of calling me a geek than I usually get. God, not at all. Tech support, quite brilliant with this stuff. I would not bite the hand that feeds me in that way, Thomas. Hi from Bahrain, from Wendy. Hello, Wendy. How are you? Lovely picture there. Stephen Wells, a healthy move, Portugal. Yep, should be there. Oh, on the man cave tonight. So the man cave alert is being sounded. The howl. It's probably like the blowing of the conch, isn't it? From what's the film? Lord of the Flies. That's what they're like on a Friday night, Lord of the Flies. That's what it degenerates into. And to bring attention, to bring the men, the males there for the man cave, they blow the conch. I'm sure Gary will have something. I'm glad I didn't say that while Gary was here, because he was just been so immature and just burst into a fit of giggles, I suspect, when it comes to blowing the conch. A rapid and non-expert image suggests that it may be an African, there you go, death's head hawk moth. And of course, that's how I would have referred to it, Thomas. I would have said to Jackie, I think you'll find it's the Acherontia atropos, actually, a slightly Portuguese pronunciation there on my Latin. There. Capricorn 12 incoming, the jazz funk track of the day. I've got to do a jingle. We've got to do a jingle, Capricorn. Oh, Maze, and featuring Frankie Beverly, of course. Frankie Beverly is actually a jazz funk soul genius, guru. The man has got the biggest heart and the most amazing mind. Look him up. You probably know Joy and Pain by Frankie Beverly. Been covered by other people. But Happy Feelings is the track for today from Maze featuring Frankie Beverly. As I sit in the car in the long stay car park, Captain Carl, pilot PA. Okay. And your jazz funk track of the day, everybody, coming to cross-check, is Maze featuring Frankie Beverly and Happy Feelings. Sorry, I should have read the first. I should have seen the last bit first and done it in my pilot voice there. And I met a pilot the other day, and he was really unimpressed. I said to him, "It's the only profession, other profession. I've never had a profession myself, but I admire greatly the profession of the pilot, and it's probably not as glamorous as it's made out to be on Catch Me If You Can and every other feature film we've seen, where as a fella, you might imagine yourself walking through the airports with your wonderful uniform on and your little briefcase with your maps in it, or maybe just an old sandwich. You assume there are technical things in the briefcase of a pilot, like maps and so on, but maybe there is just a copy of the Beano and a sandwich or something like that, followed by the cabin crew as you walk through, and everyone's going, "Oh, wow." And that's always occurred to me as just a fantastic profession. And I said to the guy, yes, whenever occasionally when I doing my morning show, I sometimes pretend to be a pilot and say cabin to cross check. And he kind of looked at me and, Why would you do that? I won't do that again when I meet a pilot. Clearly, a Shazam question there for the tune. Did you have any luck with that, Michelle? And there we go. Thomas is so thorough, is he not? Fantastic. Thank you for that, Thomas. We are in agreement then. It would appear to be the Death's Head hawk moth caterpillar, is my guess. And why it's called that is probably a little bit over the top, isn't it? I mean, I don't think it's lethal. And why it would be called the Death's Head hawk moth at all, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, until we know, give it a fairly wide berth, Jackie. No, it's too. I can't play it again. Okay, shall I play it again? This is just for Michelle, everybody. Okay, is everyone ready to do a little jig when they hear this for the third time this morning? Let's see how good your Shazam is with that one. Okay, so everyone's feeling really up there and ready to do a jig, aren't they? After that, for the third time, I know nothing about these things, but its grub has the same colouring and marking to a non-expert eye. Thank you, Thomas. You've done so much for us regarding that insect this morning. What is it? An arthropod? That particular beastie, anyway, from the garden. Thank you very much for that. We drink, we dine. What? What does this mean, Mark? We drink, we dine, medite. We dine, we fight tonight. Is that based on one of the films that I mentioned? I don't know. You're gonna have to elaborate on that one, Mark. That might have just popped out a little bit quicker than you imagined. Anna, Cindy Vine drove from Norway, and she is also not 25 anymore. So it can be done slowly and with overnights. I think the decision's been made. The decision's been made for Anna there. She's on the trailer. But it's interesting. When I talk to Cindy Vine, we'll obviously include that in the conversation. Thanks for the incoming on WhatsApp. Appreciate that. I can see those alerts coming up. The easy peelers thing is a bit like the seedless grapes thing. They are kind of aimed at Northern European, North American type market. Where people don't want to faff with seeds, peel, or they're spoiled, aren't they? Let's face it. Or should I say we are. Peel, pith. Are you just trying to make me say pith on the show? Pith, pith, pith. In much of Southern Europe, where grapes and citrus grow, people are used to dealing with traditional varieties as they come. Yeah, and, how do you deal with your seeds, so to speak? Because they're actually good for you, aren't they, seeds? And whilst they can be a bit bitter, they contain good, like apple seeds. If you chew apple seeds in moderation, and I'm not giving out health advice here, but I understand this. Is it Laetrile, B17, the stuff that tastes like marzipan in there, is actually beneficial to you. And going back to the great creator, there's a reason, isn't there, that there's fiber on the outside and there's a seed on the inside. And if we're very spoiled, and this is the dark side of civilization, isn't it? As we become more refined and think how amazing we've come, that we've bred a grape or an orange that has no seeds and is easy to peel. I'm not suggesting with people eat orange peel. Actually, I am. Make marmalade out of it. But I suspect all of it, a holistic version of it, has some benefit. And then as civilized people, just take it down to the bit we like. And therein lies our downfall. Possibly. David Banter. Where else do you get philosophy like that in the mornings from 8:30? David Bantog's here, everybody, and it's a bon dia from David. Good morning to you. Apparently, it used to be considered a bad omen. That's where the name comes from. Oh, Jackie, get red. Get red. Shazam says, oh, I see. We drink, we dine, meditate. I see. I thought you were offering us a mark. I thought there were a lot of people really with Shazam there. Very good. You crazy music fans. That's really, really impressive. Mark and Matty and maybe Michelle. But there you go. It's called We Drink, We Dine. And the artist is Meditate or Medite. So there you go. And it's library music. So you should be able to find that now. You've got all the info on it, Michelle. It's a jolly little ditty. And it has a really nice progression in it, which we didn't get to, even though we played the first 15 seconds of it 3 times over. We Drink by Medite. There we go. And that's an interesting name for a track, isn't it? Given that I'm not drinking in the sense that, I am drinking water and tea and things like that. But still only how many months to go now? January, February, March, April, May. Only another 8 months to go, and then I'll be with you, with the rest of you, most of you, drinking the booze again. Oh, Garvo. He is waiting. He has sent me a message a minute ago to say that, that I've sent him a duff link, and that so his user error is my fault. Everybody, that the great Garvo is not with us on the screen at the moment. So I'm going to put that right immediately, so that we can get him onto the screen with us and get him up. Yes, we need to be able to get it up this end, don't we, and have Garvo join us. So let me go into the Facebook Messenger and send this now. I know you're on the edge of your seat waiting for the great Garvo, the man who puts sex in Sexta Feira. Have I built him up enough yet? I wonder. And we will come back to your WhatsApp pics that you're sending in great number this morning. So thank you very much for that. There you go. Morning, Carl. Outside broadcast from Tamar. Check him out. Here we go. We're going to see him any minute on the screen now in Tamar. How fantastic. Not using his fiber this morning. And Mark, thank you for that. Thefactsite.com. That sounds interesting. For a few facts, obviously. Take that, Facebook. Clementine, orange, satsuma, tangerine differences. So there you go. Nailed there. Gary, that's been put right now. Louise is here this morning. Morning from Castella Branco for this week. And of course, we spoke to Louise, didn't we, a couple of weeks ago, about being a house sitter. So she's there. There she goes with another gig over there in the CB district. Aben Suado is blessed. Paul Williams, love how you keep us in suspense with Garvo. Yes, I must do that more often. Just leave him hanging there, right? But he's going to be with us any minute. Happy Friday from Dominique Core. Thank you very much indeed. Terence Austin, the brother, is here. Bon dia todos. Oh, Terence, while you're there, can I show the wonderful picture that you sent me? I think that was by Messenger yesterday. Would really love to show that. Not sure I've got clearance though. It's the moonrise over Alviagra. So that's a cracker, and one that I would love to send. Not love to send. Oh, I probably would love to send it, but I'd love to show it to everybody here this morning, if I may. From you. TerenceAustinArtist.com, brother of Garvo, who's about to join us on the link. Good morning, everybody from Joao F, who I think needs a bit of tech support in the forum. Does Joao F? We'd be delighted to get you working on there, Joao F. If your contributions there are anything as generous and kind as they are here, you're going to be a great asset to the forum. If you're not already on there, if that hasn't been resolved already. Bon dia from Pam as well in Alcabasa. Good morning to you, Pamela. And am I landing too late? No, you're absolutely fine. You're all good. Just standing by, waiting for the Garvo here. So while we're doing that, let's have a look at your photos and let's bring them onto the screen. Thank you so much for this. Taken from my balcony, Praia de Rocha, last night's sunset. That's got to be shared. So that will come up a little bit later on in the show, as will your lunch the other day, the Brazilian special. What was that, Victoria? We dine by Medite. There we go. We've got a full link there. I can send that to you later. And we've got a Belfast sunrise as well. So thank you for that, Deagle. We will also show that in just a moment. But we're delighted to be able to bring onto the screen right now, outside broadcast from Tamar. It is is the great Garvo, putting the sex in sex affair.
Hang on.
There we go. Hang
on.
This
is Tamar's morning. Can you hear me over?
We can hear you, Tamar. You're coming through loud and clear. What news have you from Tamar?
Well, I am down the waterfall by the river here in Tamar. Just thought to show the lovely viewers out there where we are. But it's incredibly difficult because of the sound of the waterfall behind us. And I can't swap camera, I don't think, so I'm going to have to turn the pad round. So just a second. Are you all right? Bear with me, people.
Yeah, give us a little bit of a tour. Give us a twirl. Give us a twirl. There we go.
Right, here we are. There's the main bridge into Tamar. And as we sweep round, we have the lovely waterfall. And there's the lovely Linda. Give me a wave, please, love.
Hey, Linda. Oh, I know that cafe so well.
And we all know what that is on top of the hill, don't we?
We do. It's the convent, isn't it?
The convent de Cristo.
Yeah.
So hopefully, I was hoping to have a coffee at this place, but they're not open yet.
What?
So, yes.
Oh, of course. Yes, this happens, doesn't it, in Portugal, Gary? Of course. Things sometimes don't get started till about 10 o'clock, but they'll be there.
No, that's true. That is true. Yes. No, hang on. Let me refocus the modern technology.
It's really great.
What I might do.
Go on, carry on. Sorry.
What I might do is just shift position and then come back and have a chat when we've got a bit of quiet place.
Yeah, because I
But
mean, I think what happened anyways. You sent everybody to the toilet anyway, with the noise of the water in the background. So, with our demographic, it doesn't take much to get them reminded that they need to visit the little boys' room or little girls' room. So maybe that's a good thing. By the time they all get back, you'll be back from a new location in Tamar. Fantastic, live
okay,
outside.
5 minutes.
All right, mate. We'll see you
5 minutes,
soon.
I'll return. Okay.
All right, fantastic. Thank you for that. Superb. There's the great Garvo live on location in Tamar. Any questions you've got about Tamar, he can answer them live on the spot. So let's see. Let's have a look, see what you're saying in the comments, and look at some of your pictures. Death's head moth is curiously a popular tattoo in the States. I can understand that actually when we take another look at it like that. It is a really, I suppose it's quite sort of glamorously, gothically named, isn't it? And look at that. I mean, that does look like it has its own body art going on there. Interesting. Thank you very much for that, Victoria. And Matty asking Louise, how are you? When is your next video coming? I think it's the the question Louise dreads, but she might have an answer for us when it's ready. Bon dia. From Nubianet, good morning to you. And to Pam from Louise, I'll be house sitting in Alcobaça next week. Oh, that's a good gig. Anything I should do? See, while I'm there. Pam, that's a great question from Louise. Obviously, you need to go to the monastery there, don't you? But Alcobaça, the more I go there, and it's like so many Portuguese towns and cities, the more I discover, because it's not always obvious in Portugal, where things are. It's good to go walk about. So, Pam, what will the people who they'll know if they look at a tourist guide to Alcobaça, they'll get the usual sort of suspects. And I don't mean to diminish them in any way by calling them that. Alcobaça is a fantastic place to visit, and the monastery is out of this world. There's lovely places to eat there as well, and the Jardim do Amor. It's a lovely place, and the ceramics, the whole sort of craft ethic that goes on in Alcobaça. So much to do. But what might people not know about in Alcobaça, Pam, that you could recommend to us? And already look, a lunch date being sorted out there. Nigel Henry's here as well. Bon dia from the Algarve. Sunny, but a cup of tea in bed and a listen. Good on you to be beaming in to Casa Henry this morning. I'm late today. Our friends just left for the airport. So, Thunder, we will show the cemetery video today. There was disappointment yesterday, and it's a bon dia alegria from you, of course. There was disappointment that we didn't get around to it yesterday. Yes, bought grapes the other day. Bit in and shocked there were seeds. Yes, one of those North Americans that Thomas was talking about. Not used to it. We don't like it up us, do we, when we find a seed there, or if the skin's a bit too chewy or whatever. But I think all of these things, as I said before, have their merit. A different kind of fiber to the one we were talking about as far as Garvo was concerned. Bon dia, Joao. Same with me about the forum. So what's going on, James and Joao, with getting on the forum there? I think maybe we need to record a tutorial video. Yes, that's the thing to do. Maybe you and me could double up and do that, Thomas. I wonder what those gentlemen are struggling with. Yes, you have clearance. Oh, great one. Oh, stop it, Terence. Get away with you. Great one yourself. So here it is. Here's the picture from, we'll savor this for a moment. This is the moonrise in Alviagra. Check it out. Look at that. The tall trees of central Portugal there from Terence. Let's just moon meditate on that for a moment. As I load up a few others, we've got the Belfast sunrise, which again just sounds like a euphemism, doesn't it? Don't look it up on the internet. You might be shocked by what you see. And that is coming up for you now. So this morning, let's go from Alviagra and the moon to Belfast and the sunrise. There it is this morning. What's that in the foreground there? Wine Mark. Is that very handy from your place to the local wine shop by the look of it, Deagle? That's good. And Sant Antonio, look at that. Praia de Rocha last night. Is that the view from your place? Awesome. Thank you very much, Victoria. Coming back to your food a bit later on, and the cemetery video, of course. In no way connected. And look, the sunset last night down there near Praia de Rocha, where Victoria finds herself. Fabulous. Thank you, everybody. Really appreciate that. Standing by for the great Garvo's next position in Tamar. He's just getting set up and working from his iPad there. That's how easy it is. If you want to join the show one morning where you are, you're very welcome. You know how accessible we are here, and open-minded and open-hearted. So give me a shout if you'd like to report in from where you are in your part of Portugal. That moon is amazing. Okay, so let's put that on while we're talking about it. That moon is amazing. I tried to capture it the other day, but the iPhone didn't quite do it. Often doesn't. See, we've had Terence on the show talking about property photography. How do you photograph the moon so brilliantly like that, Terence? Could you give us a quick photography tip? And our mate Paul Richards, the news from Paul Richards is that he is going to be starting a photography school in the Algarve when he gets to be there permanently, and he'll be teaching people how to take photographs, good photographs, and assisting them in the art of photography. And it's a free service as well. He's doing it out of the goodness of his heart. So good on you, Paul. And that'll be in Alvor when the time comes. Hi, Terence from Victoria there, and to Vicky, Vic, what do you prefer to be called, or don't you mind? You're planning to start vlogging as well. That would be great. I totally agree. We do see the occasional clip, don't we, on Insta from Victoria, but a fully fledged vlog would be awesome, would it not? Yeah, Pam, it looks like Pam and Louise will be meeting up, and Nubian grateful for the hellos from people, but may not be able to watch very long. Hee. Oh, a bit tired, of course, dropping off. Okay, let's see if we can keep the energy up. I'll play that music again. I'll keep her awake. Near Alcabasa, good morning to you. Now it's Feelgood Friday. It's also Philomena Friday. Wasn't that fun last week? Incredible. Really great show. Thank you very much for bringing Mac along. He is a big Mac in so many ways. Near Alcabasa, visit the Atelier de Dos, where you can taste the best bolos de Berlin cakes in Portugal. That's not far from me. That's probably halfway between Alcabasa and me. And she is absolutely right. I did do a video with my daughter coming out of Atelier de Dos, and we opened up. It's like, you know, those unpacking videos you see on YouTube. It was like that. We brought the box of bolos de Berlin, and I think we had maybe 8 or 9 different fillings. You know, they got Nutella, they got the traditional custard cream, they had jam, they had a different kind of chocolate. They make the most. My mouth is watering just thinking about them. But their bolos de Berlin, as Philomena quite rightly says, are probably the best in Portugal. That people come from all over the country, if not the world, to try them, and they're just soft and moist as you would hope they would be. And then there's that filling that they inject into them as well. I am having. Just the thought of eating it is giving me a kind of hypoglycemia. I can feel that happening in me right now. And that's not necessarily a good thing, is it? Wouldn't it be best to actually eat the thing and have the pleasure and have the sugar high as well, rather than just make it? Isn't that how amazing the mind is? Is that we can imagine something and then the physiology actually happens. I may have to just crush them, strain them, and make some wine out of them. Okay, so we're wondering, if not talking about the hawk moth there, although, you know, each to their own, or the bolos de Berlin, I think you're talking about the grapes with seeds in. And that's where you'll get all that goodness, all that pithy goodness, right? And that's why it's good to drink wine, because it's all in there, isn't it? All the benefits of the seeds, the skins, as well as the bit we like, the pulpy, sweet bit. Okay, have you got someone peeling your grapes for you these days? That's such a personal question on so many levels. And the great thing about having small kids is that you can sometimes get them into doing that. I mean, and the problem with small kids, of course, is that they are very fickle and changeable. So you can't guarantee it. But it's quite a good thing to show a small child how to peel a grape and then say, go on, do the rest, and we'll have fun eating them together. One of the benefits. So in a way, yes, Stephen. But actually, often it ends up me doing that for other people. I'll have you know. Rick S. Reb. Rickus Reb says, I'm Portuguese in Santarém area. Any tips or help with something? Just ask. I travel for all Portugal. Bem-vindos a Portugal from Rick S. Reb. Well, maybe we need to get you on the show. Why don't you jump on and have a quick chat, Rick S. Reb, if you want to do that, either today or some other day. Just let me know. I'll send you the link. Very, very easy. Okay. Walk up to the castle, says Pam, to see the view. The castle? In Alcabasa, okay. Did I know about the castle in Alcabasa? Where is that? Is that up that little alleyway by where the restaurants are? Okay, so that's something you might not hear about in a tourist guide. There we go, from somebody who actually lives there. Pam Smith, based in Alcobaça. She's also part of our Ask Our Expats team. If you want to know more about the Silver Coast, she is able to tell you all about it. And she recommends there walking up to the castle to see the view. And I'm sure that's, one of the wonderful things about Alcobaça is that you get a very distinct sense of the two faces of Alcobaça as you walk around. So you're in the monastery plaza, piazza, and you can feel the ancient history there and the older part of the town. Then you walk through into that bit, into the little laney bit where going towards the library and the Jardim d'Amor, which celebrates the love between Pedro and Inês, of course. And then you can go into the modern part of the town, and it feels like it's like maybe 2 or 3 different places. But obviously, from the castle, you're going to see all of that. And I did, as I was driving in the other day, I did see a lovely view of Alcobaça, where you've got the modern part of it, and then nestling behind is the lovely monastery. So that's a good shout. Thank you very much, Pamela. Walk up to the castle to see the view. Okay, and Portuguese pastelaria is probably another. Pastelaria is probably another surprise to be discovered for all that visit the country. I think you're right, because people know of the pastel de nata, don't they? One of Portugal's great exports, and there are many of them, aren't there? Cristiano Ronaldo, pastel de nata, you name it, bacalhau. People know Portugal in many obvious ways, and then in the non-obvious ways, in how the Portuguese diaspora has made its presence felt and the colonial past. And then when you come here, you think, okay, I'll have a pastel de nata, and then you're confronted. Have I still got the picture of the sweet counter that Andy sent in? This is the thing I've got this. Don't forget the man cave tonight. Oh yes, and here's the picture I'm looking for. So you look, you're absolutely right, Nuna. This is what Andy sent in recently. And you go in and you think, okay, there's going to be coffee and there's going to be pastel de natas. Pastel de natas on the top row there, obviously, prime position. But look at all the rest of it. That's what you'll see in Pasteleria. So thank you very much for making that comment. Thanks for that picture, Andy. You're absolutely right, Nuno. And Sarah's here as well. Most supermarkets have an extensive health food section. I don't remember where that. Oh, I see. Okay, I'm just scrolling back. We will have a look at Victoria's feijoada completa in a little while. We might do that while Garvo and Linda are here, because I know they love their food. Best tip for capturing the moon is to use a single lens reflex. That's what SLR stands for, of course, isn't it? Single lens reflex camera and the long exposure with a long lens. And that's why you can't do it on your iPhone. And that's why, of course, you can't have an iPhone that will do that, because it would just protrude in your pocket. Can you imagine if you had an iPhone with a 300mm lens? As you walked around town, I think people would cross the road seeing that coming in the other direction. Don't you think, Garvo?
Oh, yes. Oh, that guy. You've got to watch out for that guy. He's a bit dodgy, that guy. You've got to watch out for him. Let me just square this up a bit.
So where are you now, guys? Good morning, Linda.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody.
Right. If I can, you might recognise where we are. Hang on. Just let me pan it round. It's very difficult. The main street up into Tamar, and up into the main square. We just were short of there. I just ordered a nice coffee. And just a bit of a chill now. There we go. That's better.
Oh, very good. So you're likely to be served coffee any moment in true Portuguese style. That's lovely.
Absolutely,
okay.
Absolutely.
If anybody wants anything, just let Gary and Linda know. Maybe a pastel de nata, maybe a bola de Belém. Are you having some touradas or anything like that?
No, it's just a malicious rumor.
It started already, folks. So how are you both? And people were talking about your fibre, and I was wondering, is that to do with constipation or is it to do with broadband?
Well, it does help me get through things a bit quicker, I must admit. The great fibre debate, because the house is quite a biggish house, and my brother has now got the top 2 floors. The signal from the box where he is down to the annex wasn't strong enough, so we had to have 2 separate boxes. So he got his, first of all, and everything was good. And then we've had a week or so without anything really. We basically sat there looking at each other, and then we argued a bit, and then, that sort of thing. And then that got boring, and then we moved on to something like Scrabble, or, the list is endless what we could do. But
it's like the old days, just like the old days. Are we lucky to live in this time where we don't have to talk to each other anymore and play board games?
Oh, we've chewed over some subjects, haven't we? I mean, we've gone deep. You know what I mean? Like, my mind is now it's empty. Really, it's like all in the psychological bin.
So you would recommend it by the sound of it. And I mean, I say that in jest, of course, because I think it was quite a shock for people the other night when Facebook disappears off the face of the internet.
Certainly was.
And we realize, at times like that, we realize how how dependent we are on it, and presumably you had a similar sort of experience being without the internet connection.
Well, yeah, I mean, it just goes to show how dependent we are, and then when something like that crashes, people go into like an unbelievable panic, and they've forgotten how to talk to each other as well. So what are you left with? This terrible silence, aren't you?
Yes, it doesn't last long though, does it? Because eventually somebody says, if you're British, somebody says, "Do you want a cup of tea?" Don't they, or something like that? And, and then something can spontaneously happen as a result of that, and then you remember what it's like in life.
Go for a chocolate biscuit.
really pushed the boat out. Okay, so you can see the Austins are in Tamar waiting for a coffee and can take questions about Tamar. It's a fantastic city, and we talked about this the other day. What's the difference between a city and a town in Portugal? And often, what do you make of that? Because presumably, you're from Brum. I got to tell you, I was watching a Larry Grayson documentary last night and thought of you. He's from Nuneaton, of course, not far away from you. But
now, hang on, I've got to stop you there. Nuneaton. It's the Nuneaton and Bedworth, or Bedith, as they call it, right? Bedith. How can I say this without offending anybody who's watching from there? It seems to breed strange people. And we used to have a guy from Bedith called Dave, and he was nicknamed Strange Dave. And Strange Dave was very much like, if I could give you a character, you remember the Wallace and Gromit, the penguin?
Yes.
That was Strange Dave. He was like that, because wherever you were, he would be. And you look over the shoulder, and Strange Dave was there looking, didn't say much. Oh, the coffee's arrived.
Coffee's arrived. Let's raise it. Let's raise a cup to Strange Dave. Everyone knows a Strange Dave, don't they? What?
This one is different.
Alviagra.
Conshading.
Oh yes, right.
Oh,
sorry guys, we're locked out there, right? Because Linda's got the normal Made Delight, right? But because I'm having a bit of problem with my tubes. I've had one with a little Chirino in there, Chirino. So I've just been corrected. Yeah. So that's coffee with aguardente for those who don't know. And I'm just lecturing for it. Lovely.
Do you find you make a different excuse every morning to have a coffee with alcohol in it?
Well, no. I mean, I don't do this every morning, obviously. Otherwise, I'd be probably back in Birmingham rehab now for something like that. No, apparently it's a Portuguese thing to do when the weather gets cold. So I'm going to give it a try live on air. How's about that? You watch me drop it all over. There we go. Here we go.
Oh, very nice.
Oh my God!
Hold on a minute. Let's have a look at that, because that's not a cafe. Is that like a Mare de Lait with the aguardente in it?
That's a Mare de Lait. Yeah, it's in the coffee. You can get it at the side, or you can get it in the coffee.
And how people need to know how to order that? Then did I hear the word Chirino?
Yes.
So Chirino.
Chirino. Okay.
So
Chirino.
Cafe com Chirino.
And is it cafe? Is it Mare de Lait con Chirino?
Whichever way you want it. You can have it espresso. You can have it, pingo battonado.
Probably the espresso would come with it on the side, wouldn't it?
You can have a flake in it if you like.
You can have a flake and some squirty cream, chantilly. I think they call that here, don't they?
Oh, you're so 70s,
marshmallows.
No, actually, one of the first coffees I had in Porto when I arrived about 15 years ago now, on one of the first visits, it was so lovely. In the UK, you just everything's the same in a way, isn't it? With the kind of Starbucks, the cappuccinos, the lattes and stuff. I came to Porto and we went into a little cafe, and the lady squirted some squirty chantilly cream in, and it was delicious. It was delightful. It was so sweet and fantastic. And it was a really brilliant thing to arrive to in Portugal. So cities then, I distracted you by talking about Larry Grayson. And if you don't,
never got to the point of Larry Grayson. You were going to say that. I rudely interrupted you. So
we expect that. Yes. Before we move on from Larry Grayson, he's a 70s comedian in the UK. And to show you how much comedy has moved on since then. His catchphrases were, shut that door, which, I mean, isn't that funny in its own right, is it? It's just the way he used to say it. What a gay day was his catchphrase as well, wasn't it? And the muck in this place. Yeah.
Remember what his friend was called?
Everard Farquhar. was his mate, and he had a few excellent friends as well. Happy times, and people make the case, don't they, with 70s humour that it was more innocent. And actually, I don't believe that. I think maybe what was allowed on telly was innocent, but people weren't any more innocent then, were they, than they are now?
I mean, if you think about Larry Grayson, I mean, he was gay, yeah, and you could tell that as soon as he walked on the stage, because he used to tow a chair behind him, if you remember, when he came on. It was all very sort of limp-wristed and which made it sort of mainstream.
Yes.
And in a way, in brackets, more acceptable to people. And it was probably a good way to do it, with humour and with, and bring it in nice and gentle. And I suppose in his own way, he did a very good thing for gay people, which,
but face criticism. I never expected to be talking about Larry Grayson on the Good Morning Portugal show, but also face criticism from.
But then nobody ever questioned why Morecambe and Wise were in bed together. Nobody ever questioned it.
So maybe things were more innocent then. Okay, so the reason I mentioned Larry Grayson and Birmingham and Nuneaton is because of this idea in Portugal of a city. Now, I think Tamar is called a city, but by your UK standards, you wouldn't really. You'd call it a town, wouldn't you?
It's bigger than what you think it is, Tamar.
Okay.
I would probably call it a city by British standards. It's big enough to be a city, but in Britain, don't you need to have a cathedral to be a city?
Yeah.
Is that the
cathedral?
Yeah, and in Portugal, what I discovered the other night is you apply, you call yourself what you want in Portugal, pretty much.
Really?
The town or the city or the area asks ask the government, I believe, what it can be registered as, and I think Cascais wants to be called a villa. And also, whether you classify yourself as a town, city, or whatever, depends on the rates and taxes that get paid locally as well. So there's a lot of sort of political toings and froings in that. And the reason I mention it is just so that people have their expectations managed or addressed when it comes to a place called a city or a town in Portugal. And you might drive into something called a cidade, a city in Portugal, and it might just be a few thousand inhabitants and be a very different idea to what you're bringing with you as your idea of a city. But so let's go back to tomorrow. You say it's bigger than one might imagine. It has a beautiful historical centre, and you're very close to that right now. Could you give us a sense of some of the sights, sounds, and smells of Tamar this morning?
Well, it's just got an essence of waking up now. It's very quiet. The main street down there is probably about 10 people milling about aimlessly, looking like they should be doing something.
Looking for coffee.
Yeah, looking for coffee. That's probably what they're doing. And then up this way, obviously, we go towards the Convent of Christ, which is resplendent in the sun today. Yeah, yes. And everybody should go there when you come to Portugal, because it is filled with history of the Knights Templars and mystery and brilliant architecture. I mean, there's some stone sculpture on the outside, which there's no way we could do that today. And this from 1500s. It's exquisite. It really is. And the place is filled with atmosphere and stories and history. So do it if you come, and then you have a nice coffee down by the cafe where the river is, where I was when it's open. Got a really good sports stadium here as well. Lots of shops, lots of really interesting little shops, and it's very. I'm trying to think of another city that's a bit like it. It does remind me a little bit. If you go to Menorca, there's a place called Ciutadella, which is again an old worldy place, and it's very, very similar to that. Just a bit bigger, really. But yeah, it's definitely worth a day around here, because lots to do, lots to see, and if you fancy a bit of shopping as well, that's there. And of course, there's the coffee.
Are they building a big shopping centre there? There's the Matchbox Museum famously in Tamar, isn't there? And there's a car park opposite there near the railway station. And I understand there's a big development taking place, which might be quite a good asset to the place.
It's difficult to tell that one, because you've got the train station and the coach station, which are very close together. And I don't know whether they're improving the car park facilities for both. And it looks like something I can't quite tell yet. My Portuguese isn't good enough to interrogate the locals to find out.
Okay.
So,
All right.
watch that space, in other words.
Watch that
But
space.
yeah,
Okay.
a good transport
All right.
links, obviously, because you've got coach station and trains to most main cities, Lisbon,
And,
Porto.
yes, and a very central location where it can get quite hot as well. So in the summer, you're looking at 40 plus sometimes. It can get very warm in tomorrow, right?
Yes, it can. It can. It's nice, really, because it can be warm out of the main centre, but you come into here because it's quite enclosed. You get like shady bits like we are now. I mean, the sun's out, but we're in the shade, so you can run for the cover if you need be. But beware, put your sunblock on or whatever you use,
Yes,
because
the
you will
street
get burned.
vest. Okay, and so there they are, the Austins in the shady part of tomorrow at the moment, and there is the wonderful cafe. Is that the Cafe Paraiso? You're sat outside. Have you gone to that one?
It is actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you've been.
Yeah, that is a beautiful looking building, and I know there's a new workspace there. Look at
I
this.
don't know whether we can get white on my thumb. Hang on. I don't know
That's
if we can.
fantastic.
The building's nice.
Cafe
If you look down the
Paraiso.
road there's the where we just walked up
Yeah,
down the main
delightful.
street. It's difficult because it's a rubbish camera on this, but
Oh, well,
that's what we
you're doing us a solid this morning. It's a good job that you're doing. The Cafe Paraiso.
I can confirm I am not doing a solid.
There's also the workspace there. That's pretty cool. There's a hostel there along that road, and as Gary says, takes you into the square where the founding father. What's he called? Paish, isn't he? The man in the statue. The what?
Arthur Scargill.
Oh, there's a statue of Arthur Scargill in the main square of Tamar as well. So that's a real surprise to people. So there's stick with us, Gary.
Towards the coalfields of North Allerton.
Yes, indeed. We have comments coming in, and you might want to chip into these, you Austins, because you know Portugal so well, especially Central Portugal. Everyone should know. Bon dia, everyone. Does anyone know? Are there health food type shops in Portugal for things like chia seeds, maca powder, maca? A mention of maca, your favourite beetle.
Don't go there, right? Don't even go there. Not today. Not today.
Let's not ruin a good day. And spirulina, yes, sir. You two are a bit partial to the health foods because you're a bit of an alternative leaning, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean there is a health food shop actually not far from where I am now, just on the outskirts of the town. There's an amazing amount of them. You wouldn't think that there is, but yeah, probably whatever you want, you'll get here. Hello, Victoria. Yeah. Welcome to Portugal, love.
It's hola, bon dia. Good to see you. She's a rapper, isn't she? Thanks, Philomena. The Bola de Berlin. Is there a healthy option, Austins? I mean, you got to just
come on.
You just got to eat it.
Come on. Just smash it down your grid and enjoy it. Stop worrying about it.
Smash it down your grid. Also, Alcoa Pasteleria in Alcobaça for their award-winning cakes, including the cornucopia. I don't know that one. Do you know the cornucopia cake?
What's that then? No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't know what it is. I keep losing them off my picture.
Okay, so Nubianet here's an interesting question, and this will be, I think, picked up by a few people in the comments here. Wonder what single people who like to mingle are doing in Portugal. I think mingling is very easy and much more possible now, isn't it, in Portugal? So I'll let the singles answer that to let us know how they're getting on. Sarah, yes, from Antonio, there are sections in the bigger supermarkets. Yes, and increasing sections in all the supermarkets with vegan and health foods. Even my little corner shop that I went to yesterday in the cobbled lanes of San Martino de Porto, they've got a beautiful range of these kind of little plastic packets with chia seeds and quinoa and stuff. It's alive and well in Portugal. And Salado is a good shop to look out for as well. Nubianet, my understanding is go to a local cafe every day at the same time and meet the locals. There you go. A very good way of doing it. It took me 2 days to eat it and I slept really, really well. That's a good quote, isn't it? And we're going to show that video. Actually, let's do that now because it is an amazing. This will whet your appetites, you Austins, for lunchtime. Okay. I don't know if you better get this into Mar. This is a bit of Brazilian food here, sent in by Victoria.
Well, here it is. Arrived. Farofa, some greens, some chimichurris. What do you call them? Chicharrones. The rice. And the pièce de la résistance. Look at this. Oh my god. It's feijoada. Okay, we're gonna put some in the rice. just like Brazil. Oh my God. Look at all those different pieces of meat in there. Beautiful. I'm gonna take some of this, put it there. I'm gonna take some of the farofa. Oh my God, it's my favorite. I haven't had farofa in years. Yes, let's start with this. Let's see how it goes. Oh my God. Let's take the first bite. Oh my God. Heaven on earth. Heaven on earth.
Heaven on earth there. I think she's really enjoying that. Incredible. So that was a feijoada completa, already a bit windy before she'd even eaten it there by the sound of the video. 2 days to eat it and slept really well after that. Do you like a feijoada, folks?
Yeah, a few beans. Yeah, can't go wrong with a few beans, can you?
You
Keep you healthy.
That's the oh, Mrs. M, message coming in. Talking of feijoada completas. Go on. How can I help you? Just trying to do a live show here. Can I make sure? What's Jimmy Choo done now?
Oh, he hasn't.
Oh, okay. I have already plugged. I've plugged Jim White, and you shouldn't really say it like that. But yes, I have promoted Jim White. Let's call it. Let's call it promotion instead of plugging. Okay, yeah. See you tomorrow, says Mrs. M, for the Feelgood Portugal show. So there you go. Most supermarkets have an extensive health food section. So Sarah Exton getting good value this morning, and no Portuguese pastelaria is probably another surprise. Okay, we did that. Where are we with these comments? Castle on the list in Alcabasa, fantastic. Antonio, thanks. That's really helpful. I need my greens smoothie every morning for my breakfast. We'll soon have you out of that habit and drinking a coffee with aguardent in it. Never mind about your green smoothie. I'm afraid not much I can eat from the pastelaria, as 99% of the products are made with milk or milk products. Is true. And since I'm lactose intolerant, my body won't agree if I eat them. Can you build up your tolerance? That's the other way of looking at it, isn't it? By having a homeopathic dose of lactose and building it up day by day, I wonder. And look at this, Linda. People please see it for him. Hey Gary.
No, give him the man cave salute now.
The man cave salute.
Keep your hands down.
The man cave. I'm so intrigued to find out what the man cave salute is. Is it the old Zé Pavino? Is it one of these?
Worse.
It's worse than that. Okay, Gary,
Worse.
Linda, there's a pizza place there on that main street near the bridge. Can you get me a thin crust pepperoni, please? Can you sort that out for Hank? Send it over to
I'll put it in a
California.
box for you and send it. Might have a few bite marks out of it though by the time it gets there.
We could also perhaps get him a Francescina.
Oh yeah, the Francescina places around here as well.
Yeah.
Is that what in Tamar?
Yeah.
It's very famous apparently. This restaurant.
They boast about the Francescina here.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Jardim something, is it?
Yeah.
It's over this way somewhere. One of the back streets. Nice restaurant.
All right. I'm sure if you offer to take Gary and Linda out for lunch, they'll take you to this place. Okay, there's a deal. Would a booster? Look, he's probably gone to a lot of expense though. He doesn't need to hear this. Would a booster not work for a large? I thought I said rooster, but would a booster not work? You probably tried that, didn't you, Gary?
We did, which gave us some internet on the old system, but we wanted, because we broadcast something with a bit more oomph. So this was the only way to do it, really. And we did the speed test yesterday in the kitchen, and I think it went up to about 70 to about 90 on the download of the upload, and about 60, 70 on the other. So it's there, man. So
doing a speed test in the kitchen just sounds like a Saturday night out in Birmingham. Just
say what kind of speed it was, though, didn't I?
In the day. I'm also allergic to dairy, except for me. I stopped breathing. That is an allergy and a half. That's serious. So So I didn't mean to make light of anyone's lactose intolerance, especially when it gets to that scale. There's a place here in Lisbon, however, that makes vegan pastel de nata. So there you go. There's a solution. Fiona and Simon, good to see you. Gary and Linda. Speaking of board games, I just want to get an expats gaming club started when we get there. I'm just saying. Gaming, though, what we're talking board games.
Twister.
Twister. Twister on the beach. What's in it for me? Sand, I guess. Did WhatsApp still work when everything else? No, it didn't. WhatsApp went down with Facebook, didn't it? My eating time, intermittent fasting will start in 2 hours. My goodness, that's not helping, is it? With showing all this food. I have tried lactose pills in the past. Are they tasty? They did nothing for me. I wonder. That's not so good, is it? How's it going with the fasting? I've done that with great results. So people, speaking of that, intermittent fasting, not something we're interested in, is it? You, me, Gary, and Linda here. Do you ever do a fast?
I'm just going to tell you a story there, right? And this is how idiot I am. Because I try to be respectful of people's beliefs and stuff. And, Ramadan, the fasting and all that. I thought, well, I'm going to see what it's about. I'm going to shadow, what the locals do. And obviously there's no eating involved in daylight hours and stuff. But I didn't know that. I thought it was just no eating for the whole period of time. And I think by the end of the week, I'd almost collapsed because I had no food or anything. And then someone discovered that you actually can eat after dark.
Yes, Gary. Yes, get do your research.
Yes, obviously don't skim things, go in depth, otherwise there's going to be trouble. I just wanted to know what it was like, but I kind of really thought, how do these guys do this? How can they go all this time without? But no, learn by your mistakes.
Do you remember that event, Linda?
No, that was before my time.
Oh, and you stopped him doing silly things like that, presumably, and a civilizing and sensible influence to his life. So looking at each other can be a good thing as well. Yeah, I'm sure Joao F, Garvo, and Linda love doing that as well. Can we get Garvo to say, "I am the danger"? A guy opens his door and gets shot, and you think that of me? No, I am the one who knocks. Consider it an audition. So is that like from a Tarantino movie?
I don't know. What's that then?
Or is it Bryan Cranston? Would you mind saying it anyway as an audition?
It might be, mightn't it? I hate reading stuff out on live, so I haven't got my glasses anyway. I am the danger.
Sorry, I thought you weren't going to do it.
I'm going to have to go back sort of halfway down the street for this. I am the danger. A guy opens his door and gets shot. And you think that of me? No, I am the one who knocks. Consider
no,
audition.
You don't have to say that.
That was like
I'm the one that knocks, okay?
that was a bit like Joe Biden reading auto cue there. Don't reading the bit.
Well, I've got reflections, and I've got my glasses, and so I didn't do too bad, really.
No, that was pretty good, and I liked it because you looked more like Robert De Niro as you leant back to try and read it. Everyone looks like Robert De Niro, don't they? When they need glasses. That's worse than me stopping breathing. I only get bloated, and you don't want to be stuck with me in an elevator. That sounds like a scene from a movie. If old Matty's having a lactose intolerance reaction, and he's getting bigger and bigger in an elevator. Okay,
here comes the parcel van. Here comes the parcel van. Just going to get loud in a minute.
So this is how they roll here. The postman will drive at about 50 miles an hour down that little lane there to deliver a parcel.
No, we've just come to a grinding halt for some reason.
All right.
You might have a couple of drops. Oh no, there's another van now. Another white van man. I would took him with his flashes on.
Okay, there's your travel update from tomorrow.
He's getting very close and I'm getting worried now.
Ah! Whoops!
Very much to the right on the side of the table.
They're fine, folks. Now, unsurprisingly, the vegan nata shop in Lisbon is called Vegan Nata. I think a city designation is granted by the Portugal government. Yes, that's right. It is, but I think you can make an application and make a case for what you want to be called. Agua Dent is getting some love this morning.
That's the nicest one so far.
This right here is riveting television, which takes Gary back to his former fabrication days as well, possibly. Healthy Move Portugal, Matty, you probably didn't take enough. Here we go. We're all working on Matty's lactose intolerance here this morning. Intermittent fasting, did not do it during my vacation and gain. Yeah, this is Matty's famous 7 kilos in 14 days bloating here in Portugal. Here we go. Filomena or Medele con Charinho. There it is. There's what you need to be asking for. That's fantastic. Good to see the lovely Linda again. Your fan Patrick is here this morning, and the wonderful thing about Charinho is literally it means a little smell, doesn't it?
It's hard to translate. It's either a little kiss, a little whiff, or a little something. It's somewhere in that range.
So is it right to say then, Don't go in there. I think I might have fage un poco chirino, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'm
Might
taking
have dropped the Chirino somewhere.
the old crop dusting. Oh, yeah. Oh dear. You mentioned that.
I'm going there, mate. It's a bit Chirino.
Fortunately, I dropped 60 pounds during lockdown. Good morning. Fabulous Carl from American in Portugal. Hello, how are you? I'm so sorry you've joined us at that moment when I've made a really awful reference to Chirinos. I had a different image in my head when Carl said, the lady squirted. Did not hear the rest. Oh no. Just as fellow YouTuber, American in Portugal, is with us, it's descended into this. The first question that came in that I was going to give to you, Gary, is where you can buy a good chocolate sausage in the Algarve. It actually, literally, that was asked this morning. Do you have an answer to that?
Well, I'm not been in the Algarve. I wouldn't know where you get a chocolate sausage, but I would think there is somewhere around here you can get one. I think I've seen them in one of the supermarkets or something.
And if you wouldn't mind asking,
specialty shops.
Linda, if you could use the iPad later to get a video of Gary asking for a chocolate sausage somewhere in Tamar, that would be so great. I'll pay good money for that. Becoming a professional barfly is great for making new friends. Yes, Matty, the answer there. Thomas Malloy, city status in Portugal, traditionally seats of a bishop. So don't be bashing that idea. Yeah, currently, since 1982, towns can be elevated to cities if they are historically, culturally, and architecturally significant. More than 8,000 people on the electoral roll in the contiguous area and have a majority of a defined set of public services. It's that little laugh you do, Gary, that sets me off. I'm reading it perfectly.
I haven't absorbed that post, or I'm just thinking of so many other different things.
Your mind has got it. Hello, thank you, Linda, for keeping it going for us. Did Larry ever have a boyfriend? It was never in your face. Well, interestingly, you watched the documentary because he was an incredible character, Larry. We're talking about Larry Grayson again, and a lot of your gran might watch, and you'd say, "Granny's gay," Oh, and they say, "Oh, never." Of course, he's not gay. It's just an act. It's just an act.
Just blank out.
And like many sort of accentuatedly camp entertainers, and I think this was true of Kenneth Williams as well. Apparently, quite asexual. So in many ways, it was an act, and the claim behind the scenes or the research is that they weren't very interested sexually, as it were. And I'm happy to talk about sex on Sexta-feira here on the Good Morning Portugal show. Things are confused in English, as American English uses city much more liberally than British English. Interesting. Okay, thank you for that, Thomas. And I really appreciate it when you're in on the show and giving us that sort of information. Tamar has 36,000 inhabitants in the 2021 census there. So a bit of an urban sprawl going on there beyond the medieval centre, where we're seeing the wonderful Austins this morning, the metropolis of Tamar. That's about the size of where I live in California. Really liked Tamar. I just love Tamar and all the nights history.
In the meantime,
Okay.
Oh, we've got another one coming in. Is that a pastry that's coming now?
No.
I'll do it.
Oh, so my beautiful assistant will help me out. It's pay up time, I think, because the waitress is changing shifts.
Oh, okay. I think it's been moved on for the first time. Isn't that amazing? Look at that, Antonio. And this always surprises me when Portuguese people haven't been to some of the most amazing places in Portugal. But why would they? It's the same. I haven't been to every English city or town where I'm from. And I remember, going with somebody to Tamar, and we had lunch there. We were having a meeting, and he had never been. And it was a delight to take a Portuguese person to Tamar for the first time. And Antonio F. liked it very much. American in Portugal, a warm welcome to you from João F. here in our community. Town status in Portugal, traditionally based on having a charter market. Currently a village, Aldeia, can become a town if it has more than 3,000 people on the electoral roll in the contiguous area and has a lesser defined set of public services than a cidade would need. That's brilliant. Thank you very much. Tamar is a wonderful location, town to live, says Nuno. Just to hop in the car and go. Highly recommend the beautiful town. Have you found the secret tunnels, Gary and Linda? Is that where you're headed today?
Secret tunnels. But that's secret. I haven't heard of them yet, so
I didn't know about those either. Yeah, tell us more, please. AIP, if I may call you that this morning, hashtag AIP. There is a snob value associated with villa status. That's the other one here in Portugal, as in the old days. This was granted by the king. Back then, some small places were given villa status because they were significant for the crown. They still have this status. That's Cascais and Estoril, of course, even though today they wouldn't get it. So they guard it jealously there. Superb. If I made any mistakes, Hank says, in my Portuguese history references, please let me know. The Carnation Revolution was beautiful. Yes, I think the world needs to know more about the Carnation Revolution. Weather check from Lisbon today, 28 degrees. What are you expecting in Tamar today, folks?
I don't know. I haven't looked, to be honest, because I sort of scuttered out the house when it was first light and just headed for tomorrow. So I don't know. It'd probably be about 25, 26-ish, somewhere around. I don't know. Could be warmer. You never know.
And you're being asked as well by Philomena, have you visited the Matchbox Museum, the Museu do Fosforos?
No, that's another one I haven't done. Matches... Well, I don't smoke for one thing, and I'm not a pyromaniac, so they're not high on the list. But matches, okay, I'll do them.
Yes, it's not immediately appealing necessarily, but I've heard it's incredibly charming and would turn somebody who might eschew the potential treat of going to the Matchbox.
I would imagine, being serious for once, that it's not necessarily the matches, it's the matchboxes, because matchboxes can be quite ornate. Don't remember the old England's Glory matchbox with the little quotes on the back?
Yes, I do. And swan vestas. I mean, you're right. The graphics on that little box is very exciting. I think I still got one from Dartmoor with Uncle Tom Cobley on it. Why he was on Dartmoor, I don't know.
Quotes, I'll tell you.
Yes,
some of my best came from there.
The history to me is awe-inspiring. Sitting on stones that are older than my country. Well, there's a view. That's an interesting point, isn't it? That some of the stones there in Tamar are older than America itself, as in the civilization we're speaking.
Steady now, you're going to upset the Americans.
Yeah, you could see me hesitating slightly there. Yes,
America was there a few hundred years back. It isn't just 200 or 300 years old.
That's why I added that. Let's leave that with Hank to deal with, shall we? In the comments, Hank said it, not me. I'm moving on to Wandsworth now. Talking of civilization, Anita over there in Wandsworth in southwest London this morning. And hi, everyone from Denise. Hello, Denise. How are you? I think you're probably in Cascais, aren't you? That's where you were last spotted, over there in Cascais. So many lovely comments. Are you all right for a little while longer, the Austins?
I'll tell you, the diary is full. I'm just, every minute. Come on, we're all right.
Hank is Portuguese already, says Sonia G. I think he's earned that for sure. My advice, especially to the new ones from Joao F, is if you want to know anything about Portugal, you can Google it or just ask Antonio F. Yes, of course, he's a living encyclopedia. Completely agree. And James wants you to know his username is a nice, easy one there. Which is I guess a phonetic version of his name there. Seriously, that when Joao said I have a Portuguese heart was some of the best compliments I've ever gotten, to be honest. There you go, Hank. And you definitely deserve that. And Iris is here. Lovely to see you on San Martino Beach. Oh my God, what is that dish called? That was the feijoada completa. It's a stew, says Nigel. Get the Yorkshire pudding out. Actually,
I wonder what Portuguese people would make a Yorkshire pudding. I've often thought that.
I imagine they'd want to fill it with eggy custard, wouldn't they? I would eat that. I would eat that, actually. So why don't we do that one weekend? If we get Owen on this and we come up with some hybrid things, like a giant Yorkshire pudding for main course filled with feijoada, or the old Cozinha Portuguesa with the pig's ears in it.
Sounds good to me, Go there.
Yeah, and then for afters, another giant Yorkshire pudding filled with eggy cream. Let's do that. So there you go, Iris.
Have you ever had pizza and custard?
No, have you?
Try it, yes, try it.
What, Hawaiian? With Hawaiian?
It's got to be simple pizza. Cheese and tomato, very simple, no spicy stuff. And a little dip of custard. Just try it. Just try it one day.
No,
it's better when you're drunk, but try it.
Okay, look at this. If Eusebio is not happy about this, if Victoria keeps calling feijoada Brazilian, we're going to fall out. I think that was the Brazilian take on it, though, wasn't it, Eusebio? I'm staying out of it, though. Can you help me find a company to transfer money from Canada to Portugal? Spartan FX. Check them out in our business directory, Denise. Try Spartan FX for that. It's a bit urgent, so if someone could share it, would be much appreciated. So there you go, Denise. We love working with Spartan. You can find them on our website. Just lost all the veggies with all that meat. Yes, happens all the time, says James. For lots of reasons, I don't have time to to go into here. What does that mean, I wonder? He's gone. Check out Cafe Paris, where they found a Templar ritual chamber with access tunnels. So you know a lot about this AIP, don't you?
There is actually. I kind of think I know what's on about. There's supposed to be a network of secret tunnels that run out from the convent up there, where the Templars used to escape from in times of Moorish invasion and that sort of thing.
Okay,
I think that's what we're
right.
accessing.
Okay, so yeah, not for the dark side, because that's what it makes you wonder, doesn't it? You know, we talk about the Templar past of Tamar, and generally speaking, it's seen as a bold and uplifting influence. But I wonder, what do you know about the Templars?
Well,
just that they come like me. Just it's a secret.
I'd have to come round and tell you.
Because I think it's the same for everybody. Actually, it's like, yeah, to go to Tamar, it's all about the Templars there, but we actually don't know a great deal about them. Yes, the
sign, the symbol.
There you go, both of us. And I think Thomas, there may be some incoming from Thomas regarding the Templars, but it tends to be that, doesn't it? Oh yeah, go to Tamar. It's all about the Templars there. But what are they really about? We need to find out more, I think. I will earn citizenship before I die.
They became incredibly rich and powerful, didn't they? That was their trouble. They amassed so much power and wealth that they threatened royal families across most of the Europe, and that got them disliked.
And we know what happens, don't we? When this goes on, that when people, it's hard for the human being to handle. I think when they get
it's a bit like Jeremy Corbyn and the Labour Party, really, that sort of thing,
isn't it? Just it's exactly like that. Bon dia, everyone from Owen. Hello, mate. I don't know if you're up for that hybrid cookery of Yorkshire pudding and feijoada. There's Portuguese and Brazilian feijoada, so there you go. Calming things a little bit on the feijoada front there. Oh no, sorry, midlife. It's always been taken in Brazil or in a Brazilian restaurant, at least by Victoria. So no harm meant there. I'm looking forward to being with you tomorrow. Cheers, Jim. Looking forward to that from 10 o'clock tomorrow night on the Feelgood Portugal show. One passageway leads to the nearby palace, and another one uphill towards the castle, and another found behind the Café de Avozinha. You know so much about this. Thank you. It seems espresso and secret Templar places are standard. Coffee. She's going back to her coffee, I think. So, yes, I'm thinking, just according to my own standards, that it's probably so that the convent and the knights could meet up, right? Isn't that what the secret passages were probably about? If we know human nature at all.
Well, I would imagine that it was some dodgy dealings going on down there. Probably you wouldn't want God to see too much of it. I wouldn't have thought.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, the subterranean underworld and all that. But as I say, it's just an escape route, I suppose, in times of siege and having a party down there. The old disco. Yeah,
and a little cuddle. And the euphemism, presumably, where the knights or the monks said, "I've just got to pop up to the convent to get some more egg pastries," which the nuns were famous for, and it'd be like, "Yeah, okay, see you later." Yes, Poker Nights, Hank from Owen Lloyd Martin. You can answer that, Frank. Friends have to go for today. We all do, but we're just so happy being here talking to the Austin. See you next time, says Antonio. And Iris, can anyone tell me what the name of organic Greek yogurt is in Portuguese? That would be bio yogurt, wouldn't it? Been trying to find bio but not seen any yet for milk and butter. Best one for my money and my liking is Auchan. AUCHAN. Go to Auchan for organic bio yogurt. There may be other recommendations. Have you been to the Festival of the Tabuleiros? There's a great question. Have you seen that?
It was a good one because it's been postponed because of COVID. So we haven't had it for a couple of years. So hopefully, said touching wood, we'll have it this coming year. It's July, is it? Around there somewhere?
Hey, do you want
to get
Yeah.
I thought we cancelled it again.
No.
Well, shows you're right. I missed it. Come on, wake up, Gaz.
But we didn't know about it till after it had happened.
How can you not know about that? The place is like, must have been the night after a man cave.
Yes, that could take the blame for many things, can't it? But you're absolutely right, Veronica. The Tabuleiros is an outstanding event that happens occasionally in Tamar.
3
For
days.
3
it goes
days.
on.
3 days of
Bring back the
partying.
festivals. Bring them back.
Bring them back, absolutely. Facebook famous Gaz from
Oh
Lawrence.
my Lord, what are you doing here, sir? Mr. Harper.
Does
Hello,
he know?
how
Does
you
he
doing?
know Dave? Does he know Strange Dave?
He probably would have met a strange Dave. He would have, even though he probably knows one of that.
Okay, good morning to you, Lawrence. OMG, the Breaking Bad remake. It may have to wait. It was a line from Breaking Bad, maybe. You and your Bryan Cranston there. Yes, okay.
Winter's
So that
coming. Winter's coming. I normally grow some sort of beard in winter or something.
it needs a bit of work on it. 30 loaves of bread on your head is a feat. It certainly is. I definitely, especially when it's the old Tarada bread, isn't it? Because those bad boys are heavy.
No,
I definitely.
that wasn't this year with the 30 loaves of bread on your head.
Okay.
That wasn't this year. No, it was last year, and it won't be
All
on
right.
until next year.
Oh, that's right. They
So
don't
every
do,
2 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Definitely want to go to that festival in Tamar with the 30 loaves.
Sorry,
30 loaves of bread
when
on
I
your head.
said it was on for 3 days, that was the Templars Festival.
Oh, okay. All right.
No, yeah, I'm sorry, I was misunderstood. Yeah, no,
Okay.
it's next year.
In our forthcoming documentary of Tamar with the Austins, we'll get that all straight. Okay. Well, that's that special release video that we'll do. Say my name, Garvo. Is this sort of Brummy request time?
Yes, no, say my name. I know where that's going.
Okay, all right. Iris, was absolutely delightful meeting you and Mrs. N the other day, Carl. We have taken the place in Nazareth. So she will, yes, we'll see you again on the beach. How fantastic is that? Ramadan or dram of rum? I think you've done both of those. You've given both of those a go, Gary.
The drama room was easier, definitely.
And going back to snifters and chirinos, I guess in UK I'll have a snifter, and that was us giggling, I think, some time ago. Pingo Dos does 2 versions of chocolate salami. The gold wrapped one is, and this is the thing: the old chocolate salami in Portugal is often wrapped in aluminium foil, presumably as part of the cooking process. So it's like a roulade of, it's like a little bit of a millionaire shortbread, maybe, wrapped in silver foil. Why, Gary? Why? And presumably they do an upmarket version wrapped in gold foil instead.
Oh, yes.
How about that?
Yeah, the platinum version.
Yeah. Riveting. I say riveting. Show us the pastry. I don't think I can bring that photo. I'll send that to you separately of the best bullish diabelli in the world. No milk-based foods in the secret tunnels. Oh, Veronica, a message for you. Love a secret tunnel. Please tell us more. Mar Jaff is here, planning on Tamar next week, but first craft beer festival in Porto this weekend. That's a good call, isn't it? Head to Tamar, everyone. Anyone who likes a craft beer, head up there to Porto this weekend by the sound of it. I should have said good morning to you half an hour ago. Please forgive me. I shall fulfill my promise to you while you're still young. Don't miss, Veronica says, seeing the Temple of John the Baptist. What's that, Gary? What's going on there?
I'm getting surrounded by white vans.
Okay. It's this kind of pedestrianised area, except for. So don't miss seeing the Temple of John the Baptist in the Square of Tamar. It was here that the Knights Templar rebranded. So they were at it as well. People think it's a modern thing, don't they, with Madonna and so on, but the Knights Templar thought to themselves, I know, we've got to change our image around the world. Let's call ourselves the Order of Christ now. Set out on the maritime explorations and the world as we know it. And so there is their importance. And forgive my ignorance about the Knights Templar, please. We will look further into that. We'll probably do a whole show about it. It is about the matchboxes, as you said, Garvo, because I guess one match looks a lot like another one, doesn't it? It wouldn't be a very big museum if it was just the matches themselves. Massive thank you to Gary and Linda. Have a great day, you too, from Owen there. 26 degrees forecast for Algoj in the south today. The Museo do Fosforo started because of Queen Elizabeth II. What? Now find out more about this mystery. So maybe she was in Tamar in her earlier days, and leant out of a carriage and said, have you got a light? And then the whole matchbox.
I'm dying for a fag. Has anybody got a light?
Or her sister, because her sister had always had.
Yeah, there we
yeah. Okay, might.
Anybody brag with dent in a fag?
Does one have a light, please? I'm up for that. The hybrid cookery, the feijoada in the Yorkshire pudding. Yes, that's going to be a great weekend.
I'm just going to tell you something, just very quickly, right? We did a few tests yesterday in the kitchen.
yeah.
We were almost sort of 75% there, but I think I might need another camera, so that's why I haven't gone for it today. Needs a bit of a workout. So if you can find a slot sometime, maybe in the next week or so, we'll go for that. We'll go for it. We'll do
I've always got a slot for you, Gary. And I was gonna you could have,
don't mention that. That was after a few drinks one night.
It's been a while. You can.
And where
you
is
can
that
have,
orange anyway?
You can have 2 cameras. If you log in twice on StreamYard, I can switch between them from this end. So I think it's a date with Owen, the feijoada Yorkshire pudding thing, multiple cameras.
I've been sitting there trying to figure StreamYard out. And I know what you mean. You get the icons on the bottom. So we could have probably multiple cameras, but the cooking, you've got to have a close-up, you've got to have a longer shot, and maybe one of the cooking itself. So I'm working on it.
I remember the icons on the bottom. That was another man cave night, I think, wasn't it? Michelle, bon dia, Joao. I've been laying low this show, just listening. Relaxing Friday here in Inishvale. Lovely weekend to you. I'll be there. So bon fin de semana from Michelle as we draw to a close on this amazing Feel Good Friday with the great Garvo and the lovely Linda of the Knights Templar hid out in Castro Marim for 6, was that months, years, days, while the king protected them from the Pope, who wanted. You want to get on the wrong side of the Pope, do you? Who wanted to get rid of them and take their assets. The Pope wanted to take their assets. Then, after hiding for 6 years, they returned. Oh, it's a cliffhanger. I hate it when that happens. Denise, I've also moved money from Canada to Portugal using Wise. So Wise is another one. Spartan FX, thanks, says Denise. Tamar rebranded. Oh, Tamar rebranded as the Order of Christ. The town was called that, was it? Okay, so Spartan, Wise, business directory for Spartan FX. Cheers for that, Stephen. Spartan FX is great. I feel like family with them, like I feel with Good Morning Portugal. That's how we like to roll here. The tunnels allow them to go to their secret meetings unharmed. Secret meetings. American in Portugal. Veronica, are you still down in Tavira? Your videos helped lead us there on our visit in July. Thank you for tuning in this morning, Veronica, and being so giving so much. And Alyssa Palmore is here. Bon dia to you. How lovely to see you. You're in the Templar Hub, you're in the Templar Hub, friends. There, so right bang in the middle. You might be sitting over a secret tunnel at the moment. You might be sat on a secret. You might be sat on a secret tunnel. Any recommendations? Yes, the tuk-tuk guy is amazing there, isn't he? Those two, I think they're partners, like life partners and business partners. The people who ride the tuk-tuks from the main square there will take you on a fantastic tour. I forget his name, but he's a real character and he's a lot of fun. I think I've bored on enough for one morning. Certainly not, Thomas. Never enough of you, Mr. Malloy. Check out Freddie Silver's research book on the First Templar Nation. Thank you. This is what we need to address my ignorance. How 11 Knights created a refuge for the Grail. Wow. Portugal was created by the Templars. I feel even worse now. Thank you for that, Veronica. Fight. What was that about? Was that the feijoada fight, I think? Bon dia, everyone from Abel up there in Scotland. Maybe ask if there is a tour about Knights Templar history there. There surely will be. Have a great day, beautiful people, from Melissa Igualmente. The tunnels were also part of their rituals. Yes, no ritual is complete without a bit of tunnel action. For the yogurt, it's bio. They spent 3 days in darkness in their rituals. We're finding out so much this morning, aren't we? And then the tunnels, it's not like that time you got lost in the man cave, couldn't find the door out when the light bulb went.
Yes, many times.
You could have turned it into a vision quest, but you just panicked.
It's groping round the dark, and suddenly, what's that? And it's the maracas.
What, and somebody saying, "Do you mind?" And then the tunnels represented finding their way out and faced east, where they faced the rising sun. Every one of these comments is making me feel more and more ignorant. So thank you very much for that, Veronica, this morning. We'll be there soon, says Alyssa. Thomas, I can't speak for organic Greek yogurt. Somebody needs to speak up for it. But Leclerc supermarkets are one of the only ones to have real Greek yogurt as opposed to Greek-style yogurt. Good distinction, sir. Routinely in stock in their own brand, and one called Hotos, their own brand one. That's like the guy you might have had a holiday romance with on a Greek island, isn't it? Hotos. You know who you are. Their own brand is their only brand one.
Just said that, and the guy looked round.
really hot. Oh gosh. Most others are made in Germany
Might
or
be something else.
Denmark. Festus de Tobilaris is every 4 years. The last one was 2019. So point of chronological order and Tamar order there. Thank you, Pam. All of you people already earned your Portuguese citizenship. Waiting for it will be just a formality. Oh, bless you, Joao F. Really, really appreciate it. It's been lovely hanging out with everyone this morning. Aren't we all slots for Gary, though? Wait your turn, Hank, after a few Superbox.
Yeah,
Anyway.
anything can happen.
He's a pushover. Thanks all for a lovely Friday show. Got to go. Have a great weekend all. Cheers. All the best in Castella Branco. Here we go. Just concluding now. My sentence cut off. It happens to me all the time. After hiding in custom room for 6 years, the Knights Templar were rebranded as the Order of Christ. I think we've got that straight now, Veronica. Thank you. Abel, maybe one day in the future, I'll open a haggis shop in Portugal. Now, there's a thing. Next door to Gary's. Yeah, next door to your faggot shop, possibly.
Haggis and faggots.
Yeah, amazing. Scottish and Birmingham cuisine side by side. Amazing.
Crashed together in one massive, like, universal, like, supernova.
Covered in custard. Jim White, how about a live man cave? Oh, yes. Now you're talking. They won't allow that, will they? Really? So what is it you want to do in here exactly? No, sorry. I swear I never met Hotosh on a holiday. You say that now, Thomas. Great show. Have a great weekend, everyone. So to Strange Dave, to Hotos, who we may or may not have met on Cost that time.
Strange Dave.
To Gary, to Linda, to Lawrence who popped in, to Veronica, excellent to see you, and to everybody this morning. Thomas, thank you so much for your input, and Pam. And everybody, Hank. Sorry, too many to mention. I shouldn't have started that because people would have been necessarily left out. But I don't mean you any harm or ill will. I wish you a very excellent weekend. In fact, a bon fin semana. Thanks again, Gary and Linda. Last word to you from the delightful Tamar.
Well, after we've finished here, right, the next port of call will be Entroncamento. And we know that to be a strange place, yeah. So I'm expecting to see people with elephant trunks and horns and capes and all that sort of stuff. We're just going to be shopping. So.
Oh, okay. But I think you can get a 3-legged chicken and a 16-pound potato in there, can't you? In Troncamento, it's famous for that sort of stuff.
With both.
Yes, and a chainsaw to cut it up with in the middle aisle of Lidl. So everything a man and woman might require in Troncamento. Thanks again, Gary, Linda. Thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend. Bon fin semana. Ciao, ciao.